Krishna Shyam Supriya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Priti Vilasri from California. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Priti Vilasri Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your very sweet association this morning, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Shyam Supriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Radharani Devidasi from Baltimore. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your very sweet association this morning, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So I think Radhika Kasturi Mataji is present on the call. So shall we start introduction, Mataji? So Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees to our Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call of our special series of Janmashtami special Krishna Katha Mela. And as part of this session, today we are very fortunate to have with us Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji to enlighten on the topic of Krishna teases Rukmini. And before handing the call to Radhika Mataji, I would hand over the call to our Mataji, Kirtida Mataji, to give introduction about Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Mataji, Kirtida Mataji, please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. So I'm very honored to give an introduction to Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Radhika Kasturi Mataji, as everyone...
Mataji, little louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, Mataji, we can hear now. Yeah.
Okay. Radhika Kasturi Mataji, as everyone knows, is a very integral part of Bhakti Sangha. She does multiple services on Bhakti Sangha, and a day is not complete without her services. So there's a huge list. It's like a big rope, a list of services that she does on Bhakti Sangha. She maintains the kids drive, the drive meaning the remote drive where we store all the PPTs and all the classes. She maintains that for all the kids classes and the youth classes. She uploads the Chaitanya Charitamrita classes on YouTube. So if you're able to access the recordings of Chaitanya Charitamrita classes, thanks to her. And then she also puts it on WhatsApp. She does a lot of adult classes, she does youth classes, and she also is a very major teacher in the Govinda class, which is age group 7 to 10. And she's known as the Kahoot Queen. So everyone reaches out to her for Kahoot, and she does plenty of lecture updates. So these are the services that happen on a day-to-day basis, and she's an integral part of it. She's an expert in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, very passionate about Srila Prabhupada's books, very, very passionate and an avid reader. You will discover that as you hear from her today. And she's very good with, she's been doing adult classes like Bhagavad Gita classes on Bhakti Sangha, and not only on Bhakti Sangha, but on other forums too. She's been invited by several other people because of her expertise in Shastra. So we are extremely fortunate to have Radhika Kasturi Mataji on the call, and Radhika Kasturi Mataji will be speaking on Krishna teases Rukmini. On to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. All the best.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for the kind introduction. Hope I fulfill the mission of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Varkas and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. All right. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatotayam Udirayet Nashraprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining today's call. And I definitely appreciate your valuable time today. And first of all, I pay my humble obeisances to all the devotees here on the call, so I may be able to speak the relevant words of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Please bless me. Again, your blessings makes a big difference to the rendering of the presentation. Thank you so much. Okay. So today's topic is Krishna teasing Rukmini, and we will try to see this. I don't know how far I can go with this, the whole presentation as such, but whatever we can cover during the time that is allotted to me, we can see that. So now, Krishna, he was sitting in a very relaxed way in Rukmini's palace, and he wanted to tease Rukmini Devi. Again, the first verse of the chapter describes that Krishna is Jagat Guru. He is the spiritual master for the entire universe. And again, Rukmini Devi, she's the goddess of fortune, Amsa of Radharani. And what Krishna, he does in this entire episode is a joking affair that is between the queen, that is the first queen, Rukmini Devi. And through that, through this pastime, what he's showing is that he's actually glorifying the unparalleled devotion of Queen of Rukmini. So this is what we understand through this pastime. And now, in terms of, so there is this episode on Parijata, right? Krishna, he says, when I give Rukmini one Parijata flower, Satyabhama became full of anger and pride, so much so that he was unable unable to pacify her even after falling at her feet. Only when, so now we understand the scenario, there is a contrast between Satyabhama and Rukmini Devi. So now I give the whole tree to Satyabhama, and when I give it to her, what is the reaction of Rukmini Devi? How is she perceiving this information? Rukmini saw me give the whole tree to Satyabhama. She showed no anger. So I really want to taste the sweetness of her anger. Then, so now I understand that anger is definitely not possible in her, because I see her sober, I see her speaking sweet words. By these words of joking with her or teasing her, I want to actually make her angry. So Krishna, he had this unfulfilled desire, which he was able to express by teasing Rukmini. So when will she get angry on me? She's so peaceful and composed, so loving, and I want to somehow see her angry. So the whole chapter is just about an attempt that Krishna makes, which is of course going to be unsuccessful, to provoke Rukmini Devi. So that obviously she doesn't, Krishna, he doesn't have the intention of making Rukmini feel bad, but he was thinking that, okay, by doing this, Rukmini Devi, she will definitely get angry with me, and that is what I want to see from her. So in this world, we understand that people have different natures. So some people, they are soft-spoken, some people, they have very harsh in their speech, and some people, they are fiery in their temperament, and some people are not. So these things happen because all these are seen in the spiritual world. And we know the sentiments that are there in the spiritual world are pervertedly reflected in the material world. And these sentiments are even amongst the associates of Krishna who are internally with him. And amongst those associates, we see that gopis of Vrindavan also exhibit such sentiments. And we also see there is difference of natures amongst the gopis. So these differences of nature are seen in the queens of Dwaraka also. That is our understanding. So we see there is nature of Rukmini and Satyabhama are totally different. So Krishna was thinking, oh, she's always sober. She never gets provoked. I want to see her angry. I want to provoke her and see how she acts in anger. Again, It is not for us to imitate these things. These pastimes of Krishna with the gopis or be it with the queens of Dwaraka, these are all for our purification. So the first and foremost thing we understand is, even though Krishna is married to these queens and he has household pastimes, it is not that we try to imitate whatever Krishna does. Although we have to learn so many lessons through these pastimes. Of course, as a householder life, Krishna, he would rise early in the morning. He would perform what? Religious duties, his activities, however uncomfortable it was. He would have worked all day long the previous night. And even then he would rise early in the morning and he will dutifully perform his religious duties. Of course, now we have our alarms, and whenever our alarm bells rings, that time also we don't want to wake up. And that during those times, it was always the crowing of the cock. And that is how people will rise early in the morning. So Krishna, what will he do? He will wake up early in the morning to perform his religious duties. And even though all the 16,100 coins, they were all extraordinarily beautiful, but he was not captivated by their beauty and forget about his religious duties or about the day-to-day activities with regards to the state. All his kingly duties were also, whatever he has to do in terms of duties to the kingdom, to the citizens, that was also performed. So he would never forget that. So there are many lessons like that we can learn from Krishna's pastimes. This is just one of them that I mentioned. Now, coming to the qualities of Bhagavan. So now we see that there are contrasting natures between the queens of Dwaraka. And Krishna, he is Bhagavan, right? And Jiva Goswami, he brings a wonderful point here. See, Rukmini and Satyabhama, they were actually two, we can say two extreme devotees, right? Two extreme pure devotees of the Lord, but Krishna can deal with both of them, right? In contrast, in the material world, if people are having different natures, we would shy away from them. I mean, I don't like to get along with this person. He's dominating, he's this, he's that. I'd like to ignore him, neglect him, do what not. But then Krishna, he can resolve contradictions. That is the quality of Bhagavan, which is what Jiva Goswami points. All right, so coming to the second verse of this chapter. So now Krishna, he's performing these activities as a play. And it is mentioned that he is the supreme controller. And whenever there is adharma, Krishna actually descends into this earthly planet, right? And Lord's supremacy and majesty is quoted in this verse. He's saying, Sukadeva Goswami brings out a point to say that he is the controller and he is the maintainer and he's the proprietor of this material universe. The creation process, annihilation, maintenance is all done by, he's the cause of all causes. Now, with this background, Sukadeva Goswami is going to give us a sweet narration with Rukmini Devi. So now we have to understand that Krishna is addressed as a supreme controller. And now what is going to happen between Krishna and Rukmini Devi? To some degree, it happens in every household, right? A wife is being teased by a husband. So Krishna is also speaking many things like that. And one may question, why should one waste his time reading this pastime? But understand, whatever he is doing, he has a background. He has a purpose. And we can never minimize the position of Krishna. He is acting like a human being. And for that reason, we cannot minimize the position of Lord Krishna. That is why it is stressed that he is the supreme controller. You cannot think him to be an ordinary person. So which is what is the clarification that Sukadeva Goswami brings into the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, we have to get into the play, right? We have to see and understand what is this play all about and what is going on in the play. So let's get into the play. Let's dive into the play and enjoy the Krishna Katha. So whatever Rukmini does, it is only to please Lord Krishna. So when Krishna, he enters the palace, of course, the palace should look very clean and really tidy. It should not be disgusting. If obviously, even if our relatives come to our house, we always make sure that this place is kept clean. And somebody comes and sits in your place, they shouldn't feel obligated to sit there, right? That is not a happy scenario. So Krishna, he is the husband of goddess of fortune. So how better can we clean the ambience? Imagine the same thing has to apply to our own hearts also. So if you are inviting Krishna to your hearts, it is the responsibility of every devotee to make sure to regularly clean his heart by how do we clean our heart? By devotional service, by hearing and chanting, by maintaining the proper consciousness and attitude. Then what happens through that process? Krishna is going to then enter or come into our hearts. Krishna Jayanti is coming up, Krishna Janmashtami is coming up, and we have to make sure to have Krishna in our hearts. And for that, in order to please Krishna, what do we need to do? We need to practice devotional service vigilantly in a determined way. Through that process, we can invite Krishna into our hearts. So this is the understanding. Rukmini, she is preparing the ambience for the palace, and Krishna, so that Krishna can be very happy sitting there. Now, cleaning is all done. Krishna enters the palace. He sees the palace. Wow, it is so clean and sparkling. So he sat on his bed and pillow, as soft as the foam of milk. And best of all beds, that is where Krishna sits. He was provided that kind of ambience. And when he entered his palace, he was happily sitting there and relaxing. And now, what Rukmini Devi does is, from her maidservant, she actually gets the chamara, that is the yak hair fan with a jeweled handle. And then she began to worship the master, that is Lord Krishna, by fanning him. She started to fan Lord Krishna. And now here is a mention of jeweled handle. Why is that? Why are we talking about jeweled handle here? One may wonder, right? Why is Sukadeva Goswami bringing up this point and talking about minute details such as a fan having a jeweled handle? Again, this is an expression of love. Whenever we love a person, we give importance to such minute details. It's just not a fan. How should the fan look? How should it be decorated? All that this person gives attention to. That is what Rukmini Devi did here in this episode. And Rukmini Devi, how was she looking? She was looking very beautiful. And our acharyas are explaining why is she looking very beautiful? Can somebody explain? When that question is asked, our acharyas say she is beautiful because she is engaged in the service of Lord Krishna. That is the reason why she is beautiful. So she could easily outsource the service to somebody because so many maidservants are there in her house. And why should she personally fan Krishna? What is the reason? She's the queen of Dwaraka. So many maidservants are waiting at her disposal in order to take care of whatever she says. But she never outsourced any of the services personally to Lord Krishna. And this is the learning we see from this episode. So it's all about, so to the extent you feel importance to that person, to that extent you will start to serve that person. And you will be personally taking part in the activity, however hard it might be. So it is again about feeling of importance. How important is that person to you in your life? And when that importance is known to you, you will start to express that in the form of service. Right? And moving on. So there is a quote from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura in Vishnu Purana. It says, when Vishnu appears as a demigod, Lakshmi, she takes the form of demigoddesses. And when he appears as a human being, she takes a human-like form. Thus, she assumes a form suitable to the form that the Lord actually assumes. So this is the mood of a devotee. And here we see that according to the form that the Lord takes, the Lakshmi Devi also takes such a kind of form, be it a human being, be it a demigod, whatever form the Lord assumes, the counterpart also assumes the same kind of form. So the Lord, he appears in forms according to the moods of the devotees. And the devotees, how does he serve? He serves the Lord according to the mood of the Lord. In a similar way, what should we do as disciples? We should also serve the Guru according to the mood of the Guru. So this is the understanding. So the greatest pleasure of a devotee, however exalted one may be, however advanced one may be, he has to do simple activities for pleasing the Lord. Simple activities. It could be simple. We say, chanting, preparing boga, all these are simple activities. But the way and the consciousness with which we do that activity makes a big difference. Somebody could be doing the same activity. Somebody else will be doing this activity in a serious, more serious way, in a more conscious way, more Krishna conscious way. So that's what makes a difference. And that is what also makes a difference in pleasing the Lord. This is the understanding. So now we see that there is a constant sacrificing spirit between Lord Krishna and his devotees, right? What a constant sacrifice. The devotee does something for Krishna. Krishna does more than what the devotee does for him. So we see in the example of Pandavas, Pandavas were malleable to Krishna, and Krishna became malleable to their needs also. Now, in the case of Rukmini Devi, she has hundreds and thousands of maidservants, but she is personally serving Krishna here. And similar examples from Chaitanya Charitamrita, although there are lakhs and thousands of devotees to serve, to clean the Gundicha temple, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he cleaned it all by himself. So same way with Prataparudra Maharaj, right? He did all menial services, even though he had so many ministers and soldiers at his disposal. So this is the mood of a pure devotee of the Lord. And Krishna, if you look at him, he does Shamara for Sudama, although he doesn't have to. He washes the feet of Sudama, although he doesn't have to. Rajasuya sacrifice, Krishna, he was involved in performing menial services such as washing the feet of the devotees, right? So this is the mood of devotee and Krishna. We see there is a constant sacrificing spirit that happens between both of them. And now we are coming to the episode as such. Krishna's arguments to Rukmini Devi. What are his arguments? How is he teasing Rukmini Devi? Everybody will be anxious to know what is the argument that Krishna is bringing forward, and how does Rukmini Devi respond to this? This is an interesting episode. He says, "My dear princess, actually, you're extraordinarily beautiful. And you know what? You're sought after by many, many powerful kings from far and wide. And even rulers of different planets, they wanted to come and obtain you as their wife. And all these kings, they all had great wealth, prowess, great intelligence and influence. All of them, they were all exceptionally qualified. And your brother Rukmi, he also agreed to all of them. I mean, he also agreed to offer them to you. But you rejected all the proposals that came from Shishupal and some others. What is the reason? Why did you choose me? I'm not at all your equal. You know, where are you, Rukmini? You're so exalted, and I'm not at all your equal. You have so many good qualities, and so many potential suitors would be very suitable for you. But what did you do? You rejected all of them, and you selected me out of all people. Practically, of course, if you see in our day-to-day scenario, not many husbands will speak like this. And Krishna, even though he is speaking in jest, is only joking with Rukmini, and he is speaking in a self-depreciative manner. That means he's kind of showing himself in poor light. He's deliberately doing this so that he can invoke anger of Rukmini Devi. He says, what I have done, you know what I have done? I fled the battlefield. You remember that incident with Jarasandha? What did I do? I took shelter of ocean, meaning he came to Dwaraka. That is what Krishna is saying. And in the process, what I have accumulated is lot of enemies from different parts. Unfortunately, with all these powerful people, I have developed enmity, and I had to even abandon my throne. So this is what is my scenario. So also, not only that, I am not going to stop here. I have so much more to say, Rukmini Devi. Listen to me. I want to inform you that the ladies will usually suffer when they live with people whose natures are uncertain and who pursue a path which is not approved by the society. So what Krishna wants to say is, look, my habits are not certain. Sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm there. Sometimes I flee the battlefield. Sometimes I give up a kingdom, go to another place, set up another kingdom. And there is a saying, I really don't know what I will do tomorrow. There's no saying. I can't even predict what I'm going to do tomorrow. So this is, any sensible woman would want to be with a husband who is steady and stable, right? Not that you don't want to know what he's going to do tomorrow. And history shows that I am like this. I was at Vrindavan. I left. I came to Mathura, and I was there for some time. I was going here and there. I eventually left Mathura also, and I came to Dwaraka. So I don't think it's wise for you to be with a person of such unsteady nature. That is what I want to tell you, Rukmani Devi. In any case, I want to add on to this conversation also. I have so much more to say about me. I have no material possessions. Actually, Krishna was not the king, right? Who's the king of Dwaraka? You all know it is Ugrasena. And so I don't have any material possessions because of that reason. And so who are those people who worship me? Those who don't have material possessions are the people who are worshipping me. So do you think we make a good pair? He says, wealthy people don't worship me. You are the goddess of fortune. You have so much wealth. Why do you want to be with me, Rukmani Devi? Therefore, you understand the wealthy people of this world, they never want to worship me. Now, when you look at the practical scenario, marriage and friendship, they are amongst the equals, right? They must be amongst the equals in terms of wealth, in terms of their birth, in terms of influence, in terms of physical appearance, in terms of good progress to life. So this is the way a match should be done. But such things like a marriage and friendship are not possible between a superior and an inferior. In this case, Krishna is considering himself inferior and he is pointing out that Rukmani Devi is superior. So how come you agreed to marry to me? Oh, Vaidarbhi. Krishna is calling him Vaidarbhi. Why is Rukmani Devi called Vaidarbhi? Because she is the princess of Vaidarbha. That place is existing even today in the place Maharashtra. So Vaidarbhi, you have made a big mistake. You're not at all far-sighted. You didn't realize this, and therefore you chose me as your husband. And I have no good qualities. I'm only glorified by deluded beggars who have no wealth. And I want to give you an advice. What is that advice? The advice is for your good. You should better choose some husband who's more suitable for you. Someone who is very qualified. Someone who's of real first-class order. And someone who can achieve so much in their life. So this way, you can achieve everything you want in this life, not only in this life, but also next life. Kings like Shishupal, Jarasandha, also your own Rukmi, they all hate me completely. And it was only to dispel their ignorance. What I did, I kidnapped you from their midst. This is what I did. Why I did this is because I had problems with them. And that is the reason I actually kidnapped you. Otherwise, as far as I am concerned, you see, I'm detached from all these things. I care for nothing. Wives, children, wealth, and so on. I really don't care. I'm Atma Rama. I'm very self-satisfied. I'm very happy within myself. I don't care for home, body. I really don't care. I have no familial attachments. So what is the use of marrying a husband like me who's not at all attached either to home, family, and so on? So this is the argument that Krishna puts forward to Rukmani Devi. And Rukmani Devi, she considers herself to be the most favorite queen of Krishna. Right? A very important high principle is pointed out by our acharyas here, which is very important even for us to understand. Apart from the sweet exchanges that Krishna is having with his devotees, if he notices a slight, teeny tiny bit of pride that devotees may have in any rasa, be it Madhuri rasa, Vatsalya rasa, in any category of rasa, if Krishna notices a little bit of pride, he tries to come into he tries to come forward and take that pride off of you. So that is what Krishna did here. Krishna, he will do the needful when it comes to pride in the devotees. Rukmani Devi, she had a slight tinge of pride. She serves Krishna so nicely. She's a favorite queen of Krishna. That degree, that feeling of pride was there to only a slight degree, and Krishna, he captured that pride. We see several examples from Srimad Bhagavatam. Shiva captivated by captivated by Mohini Murti. Again, that pastime was meant to glorify Lord Shiva, but he had a teeny tiny bit of pride, saying, oh, Devatas are Mohini Murti, they were not captivated. Why will I be captivated? Brahma Mohan Leela again, which Anuradha Mataji spoke about. So this again, even in gopis, they had we also see that slight pride when gopis were intimately associating with Krishna. So several instances in Bhagavatam, which actually shows that Krishna, he doesn't want the devotees to have even a little bit of pride, which is the understanding that we have. Chitraketu, he was proud. I got association with Sankarshana, and I can give feedback to Shiva also. And eventually he was cursed by Parvati. Bali Maharaj, he thought he was a very charitable person. And Sudama, he thought he was a very renounced person. Krishna, he subdued their prides. So Krishna, he cannot tolerate pride. So there is, of course, even in our devotional service, if you look at it, there is a lot of scope for us to become proud. So many glorifications comes to devotees, and we have to definitely respect that, but we should not get it over our heads. Don't take glorifications seriously. For that, we shouldn't act indifferent, but at the same time, whenever the devotee appreciates you genuinely, you should not take it to heart. You should definitely use that to increase your service to Krishna. Don't let Krishna subdue your pride, but you should take control of the situation and try to take over that. If you see that anartha in you, you take control before Krishna coming and taking control of it. Okay, that is the understanding. So now we have to come back to our episode, right? This was one of the learning points. And Krishna, he had never spoken to her in this way. So she was terribly shaken, completely dejected. Naturally, of course, the pride is vanquished. She had never seen such things like Krishna. So what is her reaction? In terrible anxiety, she started to cry. And after she cried, she collapsed onto the ground. She was feeling so wretched. I'm so unqualified for Krishna, and Krishna is now going to leave me. I'm so unworthy for Krishna. Therefore, I'm going to be rejected by Krishna. So this was the thinking of Rukmini Devi. She experienced ecstatic symptoms of grief. Bracelets slipped off her hands. She lost consciousness and she fell on the floor. And thus she became unconscious completely. So now we have to understand that Krishna wanted to see Rukmini Devi's anger. Instead, she became sober and fainted. This is the understanding. Now, this was completely unexpected for Krishna, from Krishna's perspective. I expected Rukmini Devi to get angry on me, but in this case, she fell to the ground unconscious. So Krishna was thinking, what has happened? My plan got misfired. So Acharyas, they come here. Devotees, so it's a beautiful point the Acharyas are bringing about here. Very with attention, if you can listen to this, I would appreciate that. So they are saying devotees, they generally follow the mood of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And whatever Krishna's desire is, a devotee of the Lord, he tries to fulfill that desire of the Lord. But in case of Rukmini Devi, she did something unexpected. So does that mean Rukmini Devi did not do an act of bhakti? How are we to understand this? A very important principle is explained here. So whenever Krishna's desire, Krishna obviously has a desire, and that desire needs to be fulfilled by the devotees of the Lord. But in this case, we are seeing that Krishna had a desire to manifest anger in Rukmini Devi, and Rukmini Devi should have acted in such a way that Krishna was pleased. That means she should have become angry. Such a person is called a devotee of the Lord. But however, sometimes what happens is devotees' mood overpowers Krishna, and devotees' desire takes a prominent mood, superior or more important than Krishna's desire. So this is what is the understanding. And trying to fulfill the desires of Krishna, acting according to the instructions of Krishna is of course the mood of a devotee. But here, what happens is the devotee's mood is becomes superior. And what happens as a result? Krishna had to bring a transformation in his own desire to fulfill the desire of his devotee. How nice of Krishna, right? He is exhibiting the mood of Britya Vashyata. This is the mood he is exhibiting. This is the uniqueness of Krishna's pastimes. That is what our acharyas say. Very beautifully, they have explained this point that, of course, Krishna's desire needs to be fulfilled at all points in time, but there are special cases. Even in Damodar Leela, if you look at it, Krishna's desire was that he wanted to play with his Gopa friends. But what happened? Yashodhama's desire was fulfilled. Right? It was overpowering Krishna's desire. And Krishna, he fulfilled the desire of his devotee. And that is the uniqueness of Krishna's pastimes. I thought it was a beautiful point, and I wanted to narrate that and explain it to you. And now Rukmini's mind was overwhelmed with unhappiness, with fear, with grief. She was barely able to speak. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, he brings a beautiful point to say, Rukmini could not understand the depth of Krishna's joking because she was bound by the pure love of Krishna. So in contrast, if you see a materialist, he is bound by materialism, right? He is bound because he is ignorant to materialistic things. And here we see love of Krishna is what binding Rukmini Devi, which is a contrast. And Krishna, with great difficulty, he revived Rukmini Devi from her unconscious condition. And then he started to pacify. And she was somehow, somehow he made her to speak. And he said, oh, by the way, please do not get displeased, Rukmini Devi. I was simply speaking in jest. I was simply joking with you, my dear Rukmini. I did not mean all these words. I wanted to see you provoke. I wanted to provoke you to anger, so that you can speak some harsh words, but then you did not do that. So in this way, Krishna was trying to pacify her. Now let's look at it elaborately, what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura is saying. There are beautiful conversations that is happening between Krishna and Rukmini Devi here, and I just wanted to, I wanted all of you to listen to that so you can understand the sweet loving exchange between the two. So now the first reason Krishna he gives to Rukmini is, I know you're fully devoted to me, Rukmini Devi. I only spoke to you like this because I wanted to hear crooked words from you. It is explained that Krishna is saying, if Rukmini Devi, if you give up your body, I cannot live without you. And Rukmini is saying, you've already created so much problems for me. You're making false displays of your love. By embracing me, by wiping away my tears. Now you want to cause me further suffering? Is that what you're trying to do? So now we see there is a mood change here, if you understand. Rukmini Devi, she is speaking in a sarcastic manner or an angry mood now, which is what our acharyas explain. And you will see when Krishna expected Rukmini to become angry, that time, Rukmini Devi, she did not become angry, but what happened to her? She became unconscious. But then the angry words of Rukmini Devi will come to be exhibited in the future verses. So Rukmini Devi is saying, after having suffered sorrow by staying beside you, I fainted in bliss. Why did you wake me up from the spoon? Why did you wake me up? So she's now speaking in a sarcastic tone. Now the second reason Krishna is giving. See, Rukmini Devi, I wanted to see your angry face. I wanted to see anger in your face. And that is why I spoke like that. And Rukmini Devi, she's saying, now I didn't see your anger. Krishna desires, obviously Krishna wanted her to be angry, but prema controls even Krishna, which is what is the understanding Britya Vashyata means. So therefore, in order to give more ecstasy to Krishna, sometimes prema actually doesn't fulfill the desire of Krishna, which is what is the understanding our acharyas give. Now the third reason. What is the third reason why Krishna did this? The greatest pleasure householders can have is to enjoy and spend time in a joking way with their wives. This is one enjoyment that every householder would like to have. And my dear timid and temperamental one, Vaidarbhi, goddess of fortune, she started to speak. She is very clever. Of course, she is the goddess of fortune. She is the first and foremost queen of Dwaraka. So everything about her is naturally auspicious. So whatever Krishna has said, every single statement that Krishna has made, Rukmini Devi will now counter to it. He will give a counter, she will give an opposite meaning to whatever Krishna said. So she will take it around and give it a meaning that Krishna did not intend. Whatever she is going to speak now will rip off all the arguments of Krishna. So what Rukmini Devi is going to speak now is going to be more powerful than what Krishna spoke already. So this is what we are going to see. Beautiful conversations and beautiful way of understanding. I mean, there is definitely a philosophical part to this because the exchange is happening between Rukmini Devi and Krishna, and we see Rukmini Devi is very intelligent, and that's why she answers all of Krishna's arguments in a philosophical way. So we are going to now understand. And again, Krishna, he makes another point here. I would like you all to carefully listen to this point. Krishna says, when I was punishing Rukmi, that is Rukmini Devi's brother, your silence actually conquered me. When your brother, who was defeated in the battle, he was then disfigured, and later what happened was he was killed during a gambling match on Aniruddha's wedding day. And that time you had unbearable grief. That grief was unbearable for you, but you did not even speak a single word because you feared that if you speak something, then what, I will leave you. That is the reason you didn't speak. Because of being separated from me, you did not even speak a single word, although you felt that unbearable grief. And your silence conquered me at that point in time, Rukmini Devi. Now, again, I'm just trying to, our acharyas actually tried to point out a contrast here. How silent Rukmini Devi was that point in time when her own brother was killed by Balramji. She did not speak a word. Even though she had that grief within her heart, she never spoke. In contrast, we are seeing Rukmini Devi, she also remained silent. I mean, in contrast, we are seeing now, she's going to do point by point refutations to Krishna's arguments. So what do we see from the scenario? That she has combination of both, which is what is the inference. She has a combination of both of these qualities, which is the inference. So just wanted to make that clear. And now we are going to actually see what are all some counter arguments that Rukmini Devi gives to Lord Krishna. It's a beautiful episode. I know it is philosophical. So to the extent you can all concentrate, to that extent it will be nice. But yeah, so let's get to the arguments and also understand what refutations that Rukmini Devi makes through these arguments of Lord Krishna. So again, the first one, what did Krishna say? Krishna said, you are sought after by many powerful rulers like Shishupal. They all have great political influence, wealth, beauty, generosity, and physical strength. Oh, Rukmini Devi, why did you marry me? This was the question that Krishna posed. And Rukmini Devi is actually internally very angry that Krishna could not even mention such names as being potential candidates for her. Because all these people are atheistic. They're all demoniac people. So the queen or wife of Krishna, why should she have any kind of favorable attitude towards such demoniac kings in the first place? So what do you think, Krishna? You think that these people are suitable to be mine? My husband? No, they're not at all suitable. Why? Because I want to hear only about your glories. I only want to serve you. But these kings, what do they want? They don't want to hear about you. They don't know about your glories. They have no interest in serving you. So let them be husbands of women who have no interest in hearing your glories. That combination will work out, not this combination. So why should they become husbands of mine? So she brings this point beautifully out. I don't need them. Your glories are sung in the courts of planets of Lord Shiva and Brahma. And these demoniac kings, they are so ignorant and arrogant, and they think themselves to be superior of Shiva and Brahma. And they think yourself to be inferior to them. And they think they are qualified to be my husbands? Not at all possible. So let them get married to the ladies who have no interest at all in hearing your glories. After all, she also brings up another point to say, after all, in the households of such women, which women the women who don't like to hear about the glories of Lord Krishna, what about those women? These kings, they actually live like asses, oxen, dogs, cats, and slaves. Now we have to understand, why are these colorful analogies quoted here? Why are these kings compared to asses, oxen, dogs, cats, and slaves? Our acharyas give a very beautiful understanding. This is coming from Sridhar Swami. He explains that Rukmini compares the so-called princesses as asses because they carry many material burdens. She compares them to oxen because they are distressed performing their occupational duties. She actually compares them to dogs because the wives actually disrespect them. And then she compares them to cats because they are selfish and cruel. She compares them to the slaves because their survival in family affairs. Because of their survival, they had to carry burden, right? So such kings, they may appear desirable to a foolish woman who has never heard your glories, Lord Krishna, but they can never be suitable for me. So this is what is the first refutation that that Rukmini Devi does to Krishna's question. And I thought this was very beautiful. Now let's understand the second argument. So now Krishna, he brings up this point. Your brother offered you to Shishupal. You rejected him, but he stood before you like maddened by the Cupid. Why did you choose me? I'm not at all your equal. Why did you choose me, Rukmini Devi? You have to give me an answer now. When Krishna says that, Rukmini is saying, first of all, what you said is completely true. Shishupal, I rejected him, even though he stood before me. He wanted to marry me. Of course, I rejected him. And I will now answer your question as to why I chose you. Of course, what you said, I'm indeed unsuitable to you because we are unequal. I understand that. You said marriage and friendship should happen between people who are equal. I'm not at all equal to you. Who can be equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Nobody in this world can be equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the unique personality. You are the unique person amongst all the personalities. Why? Because you are the Supreme Lord. And what is the comparison between you and the Supreme Lord, who is the master of the material modes of nature, and one who is worshipped by Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu? On the other hand, someone like me, who has mundane qualities, who is absorbed in material consciousness. So now we have to understand this particular refutation that Rukmini brings. Rukmini, she has answered the objection to Lord Krishna. She says, we are definitely not equal. You're right. The way you think, you're absolutely right, 100% right. In an opposite way, she says, we are not equal. She calls out to the Supreme Lord and says, you are much more qualified than me. Now, here our acharyas bring out a beautiful point. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura, he says, Rukmini Devi's extreme humility in what does she do? She identifies herself with the external energy of the Lord. Material energy, she says she is mundane and she has mundane qualities and she is always absorbed in material consciousness. So this way, she is actually identifying herself with Lord's external energy or the material energy, which is in fact her expansion. Rukmini Devi, we know she is the goddess of fortune, internal energy of the Lord. But it is her extreme humility because of which she is actually comparing herself to be having mundane qualities, which is what is the explanation that our acharyas give. And then let's understand the next argument that Krishna brings. Krishna says, women are usually destined to suffer when they stay with the men of improper behavior who perceive a path objected by the society. Rukmini Devi, what is your point here? What are you going to say here? So women, she's now starting to say, yes, Krishna, you're absolutely right. Because you give up the ways of materialistic people. You're not approved by those who are interested in sense gratification for this world. And therefore, your path, it's not approved by materialistic people. And that is why it is improper according to them. As far as great devotees are concerned, even they do not understand how your plans work. Therefore, your paths are always uncertain and even unknown to great sages of this world. What about the materialistic people then? So Rukmini Devi, she points out that Lord's activities are always transcendental. It is ashpashta. It is very unclear to ordinary people. And even the great sages, they are trying to know the Lord, but cannot know the Lord perfectly or understand his activities, right? So the essence is that your movements, oh Lord Krishna, they are mysterious to the sages who taste honey of your lotus feet. What to speak of humans who actually behave like animals? How will they understand you, right? That is the understanding. What about the path? I mean, what about you foreseeing the path objected by the society? For that, Rukmini Devi says, you and your followers' activities are always transcendental. The best of kings, what did they do? They abandoned their kingdom, entered the forest to seek you. How could they suffer frustration? Can you say they are unintelligent? Those kings who left the forest for you, they are the most intelligent people in this world. They are actually the wisest men. They gave up everything to follow you. And we are certainly not frustrated by the result. Indeed, they have achieved the perfection of your association. How can you say that those who follow my path will suffer? How can you make such a statement? So she is giving example of other people who actually followed the path led by Krishna and who perfected their lives. This is what Rukmini Devi is trying to say. All of them who have left everything for your sake, they actually attained perfection. And how can you say they are unintelligent? They are the wisest of people. This is what Rukmini Devi's argument was to Krishna's point, who pursue a path objected by society. Now, coming back, what did Krishna say? I have no material possessions. We are dear to those, I am dear to those people who possess nothing. And how about the wealthy people? They hardly ever worship me. This is what is Krishna's point. To this, what does Rukmini Devi say? Krishna, you are right. You don't possess nothing because nothing is beyond you. Everything is present in your existence. That is why nothing is beyond you. And then he says, I am dear to those people who possess nothing, which means, so here we have to understand this point that the great demigods who actually pay tribute to Lord Krishna, they recognize that God, everything belongs to God. And that is why it is said that they possess nothing. And I am dear to those people who think that they don't possess anything because everything is possessed by the Lord. And that is the set of people whom I am worshipped by. Very beautifully our acharyas explained this. And then finally, wealthy people hardly ever worship me. Why? Because they are blinded by their wealth. They can't understand your form, Krishna. That is why they don't worship you. They are blinded completely. They are in ignorance. They are blinded. And that is why they don't recognize your form. And that is why they hardly worship you. So this is the point that Rukmini Devi brings out. Now, coming on to the next argument. Marriage, friendship should be done between the equals, right? In wealth, birth, influence, physical appearance, good progeny, never between a superior and inferior. For that, you're right, Krishna. Whatever you say, it makes sense, but that applies only to the conditioned souls. It doesn't apply to you. You yourself are the final aim of life. Desiring to attain you, the intelligent people, they abandoned everything. And they consider you worthy of their they consider you who's the worthy, and not those who are engaged in material lust or sense gratification. They don't understand the worthiness of you. So only those who have given up the material conceptions of sense gratification, they have taken seriously to Lord's loving service, and they know who their real friend and companion is, and that is Lord Krishna. They know you are the final aim of life, and that is the person. So what you say actually makes sense, but it is just for the conditioned souls. But again, the wise people, they actually know who the final aim of their life is, and desiring to attain you, they abandon everything, and they think that you're the best. and they seek your association. So this is what is the understanding for that. And then finally, he also says, out of ignorance, I think you chose me as your husband, right? You're not at all farsighted. You can't think. You did not realize the difference and you actually chose me. I have no good qualities. I'm only glorified by the deluded beggars. This is a condition of me, Rukmini Devi. What about it? Can you answer for this? And for that, Rukmini Devi is saying, so knowing that you give yourself to the devotees, I chose you as my husband. Nobody is equal to you, Krishna. She explains, in giving himself to the devotees, Krishna has no equal. Even Lord Narayana is not equal to Krishna. In the quality of giving himself to the devotees, in the quality of exhibiting the mood of Bhakta Vatsala. Although Krishna is giving himself to his devotees, usually when you give something to others, what happens? You become reduced. Your position becomes reduced. But although Krishna, he gives himself to the devotees, he never falls from his position. Therefore, he is called, what is he called? He never falls down from his position. Even though he gives so much to his devotees, he's never fallen because of that. And that is why he is called Achyuta. So Rukmini Devi is saying that after I know that you give yourself to the devotees, I chose you as my husband. Not at all because of ignorance. I will never agree to that. And you told me you are not far-sighted. And for that, Rukmini Devi is saying, I chose you as a husband because of all the above mentioned qualities that I was talking about. I'm not at all blind. And Rukmini Devi is saying she passed over personalities like Brahma, Shiva, and other rulers of the heaven. She saw that even though they are materially speaking great personalities, when it comes to materiality, they are all great personalities, but they are all torn by power of time, waves of time, which emanate from your eyebrows, Krishna. Therefore, far from lacking foresight, I actually chose you after exhaustive appraisal of the entire cosmic manifestation. It's not that I just simply chose you. This is how she lovingly rebukes her husband. Right? When her husband says you're not farsighted, she gives a reason. Why did she choose him? Such a nice, such a nice metaphorical twist, she makes him understand that I chose you after exhaustive appraisal of the entire cosmic manifestation. And here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, he brings a beautiful point to say, my dear husband, your acquisition that I lack foresight indicates that you did not know my deep insight into the situation. Actually, I chose you because of your true glories, O Lord Krishna. Coming to the point, I have no good qualities, says Krishna. And Rukmini Devi, she's saying, your abode of transcendental qualities. What mortal woman can disregard your lotus feet and depend on someone who's always subjected to fear? Everything becomes auspicious by actually praising you. This is your condition, Lord Krishna. How can you say you have no good qualities? You are full of all auspicious qualities, transcendental qualities, O Lord Krishna. Now coming back to this point, I'm glorified only by the deluded beggars. And for that, Rukmini Devi is saying, your glories are sung by Paramahamsas. And so the sages, the Paramahamsas, the sannyasis who have obtained the highest level of spiritual advancement. So those are the people whom you are worshipped by. Those are the people who glorify you, Lord Krishna. So this is the argument that refutation that Rukmini brings about. And then there is a beautiful concept that needs to be understood. I just thought I should keep it to the last for that reason. Okay, now, so let's understand. Krishna actually mentions that out of fear of these kings like Jarasandha, I actually took shelter of the ocean. And in that process, I have developed great enemies, powerful enemies I've gathered. And you know what? I also abandoned my royal throne. And now we have to understand what Rukmini Devi is trying to say here. It's a beautiful, beautiful point our acharyas are trying to make. And I just want you to listen carefully here. So Rukmini Devi is saying, my dear Lord, so for Krishna's argument, out of fear of the kings like Jarasandha, I actually fled to the ocean. For that, Rukmini is saying, my dear Lord Urukrama. Urukrama, what does it mean? The one who performs majestic acts. Yes, you are living in the ocean of the hearts of the devotees. And from there, what are you doing? You are inspiring them. You see, Krishna, he has fled from the city, Mathura, and he took the shelter of Dwaraka, right? That is what the ocean is. And how is Rukmini Devi interpreting Krishna's living in the ocean? She says that Krishna's devotees, they don't want to come under the influence of the three modes of material nature. So Krishna, he doesn't want them to be entangled by the modes of material nature. And he doesn't want his devotees to succumb to the illusory nature. So what does he do? He enters within the ocean of their hearts. And from their hearts, he gives them proper instructions and support by remaining as a super soul. This is how Krishna does. So therefore, Krishna, he is meant to be. So now that is the contrast that Rukmini Devi is bringing. She is giving us such a nice twist to her Krishna statement, right? Another point she brings out beautifully. And Rukmini Devi, she is now exhibiting the mood of anger, and she's saying, Krishna, she's casting her angry glances upon Lord Krishna, and she's saying, your words are very foolish. How can you say you're afraid of the kings? What is this? How can you say that? You came like a lion and defeated all these people, and you took away me as your prize. It is simply foolishness to say that you were actually fearful of these kings. It's definitely not at all acceptable. It's foolish to say that you are afraid of these kings. What do you mean you're afraid? Then how can you pick me up? Took me as your rightful share. You took me as a prize. You came like a lion and took, how can we, when you came like a lion itself, we can understand you were not at all afraid. But you say you are afraid? How can we take the statement of yours? It is not at all possible. Like that, she brings another refutation point to Krishna's argument. And then becoming enemies of the powerful men. So for that, what does Rukmini say? Krishna, he said, I created lot of enemies with so many kings. So Rukmini is now interpreting this as, actually, it is the material senses which are so powerful in this world. When they are controlled, what happens? They become our greatest enemies. And now we have to take up a battle against sense gratification. So the devotees are struggling hard to overcome their desire for sense gratification. And therefore, what are you doing? You are assisting them. And therefore, these powerful enemies are the senses, and the Supreme Lord has taken up his battle against sense gratification on part of the devotees. And thus he is constantly trying to help the devotees so that they can become spiritually purer and purer and purer. And when these devotees, they become free of unwanted material habits, then what do? You reveal yourself to them. And then you reveal the transcendental relationship between you and them. In this way, you're constantly helping them. So this is what is my interpretation to your statement, O Krishna. And then he says, I abandoned the royal throne. So we renounce the royal throne, right? The Krishna says that. And here, Rukmini Devi, she's saying the position of political supremacy is, it's definitely leading you to darkness and blindness. Power actually corrupts a person. Thus, even your loving servants, they want to shy away from political power. They want to shy away from politics. Because the Lord, as a Lord, you are Atma Rama, you are satisfied. You are satisfied in your spiritual bliss. And you are hardly interested in these mundane positions, mundane political positions. And you also have a very self-sacrificing spirit by detaching yourself from the kingdom. So when you have given up the throne, that means you have given up these negative qualities. They have nothing to do with you. See, your devotees, they don't want power and politics. What to speak of you? Why would you want that? You are enjoying in your own spiritual bliss. And that is what is superior in all ways. And this political power, it's only corrupting a person. So what you did was perfectly right, O Lord Krishna. So this is another refutation that Rukmini Devi is bringing. And finally, coming to our last, the last question that Krishna said. It's a beautiful question, so I just wanted to keep it to the last. He said, I don't care for our family members. I'm satisfied within myself. I'm Atma Rama. And here Rukmini Devi says, yes, you take pleasure within yourself and therefore you rarely look at me. But please bless me with steady devotion to your lotus feet. That is what I want. I really don't want anything else. I just want meditation to your lotus feet. Okay, you are Atma Rama, but I want to always be devoted to you. Even if you're indifferent, that's okay. But I can never give up your lotus feet, O Lord Krishna. So we can understand that Rukmini Devi is exhibiting Shishtastakam verse number 8. Aslishyava padaratam pinastuma. Right? That is the mood she is operating on as far as this question is concerned. So in this regard, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, he points out that Rukmini's mind is fixed on Lord Krishna. In a similar fashion, the Supreme Lord, he also, if you look at Bhagavatam 10.5.2, it is said that Supreme Lord, just as Rukmini's mind is fixed on Lord Krishna, my mind is also fixed on you. I can't sleep at night. This is the statement Krishna makes. And Rukmini Devi, we remember she's the internal potency of the Lord, and we understand the loving expressions between the two are just pure spiritual happiness, nothing but expressions of pure spiritual happiness. This is the mood the Acharyas are trying to bring out during the conversation of Krishna and Rukmini Devi. Krishna also agrees that he cannot live without Rukmini Devi. His mind is also completely absorbed in her, which is what 10.53.2 says. And then, so from these, we understand. What do we understand? Rukmini Devi is a very intelligent lady, knowledgeable lady. She has the highest possible philosophy that we can definitely understand. Whatever reputation points that she brings about through this conversation, we can understand how philosophically advanced she is. Krishna, he is supremely intelligent, but devotees are more intelligent than Krishna, and they invariably defeat Krishna. So Rukmini, by her philosophical knowledge, by her intelligence, by her devotion, she is actually defeating Krishna here. And one may understand, one may question, right? How do these ladies, they never go to school, they never went to Gurukula in those days, and Gurukula is meant only for the boys. How come the girls are so educated at home? It means they had this understanding and upbringing at home. That is what is the derivation from this. They were given this knowledge, given the samskaras, given these devotional upbringings at home. And Rukmini Devi, if you specifically look at her scenario, she learned all this because many sages would come to her court in the that means they would come to her palace where King Bhishmaka was ruling. King Bhishmaka was a pious person, and many sages would come. And whenever they would come, they would talk about what? They would talk about glories of Lord Krishna. They will glorify Krishna. They will talk about the transcendental qualities of Krishna. And Rukmini Devi, from a very young age, she was accustomed to sitting in the court and hearing the glories of Lord Krishna. Shabda Praman, how powerful it is, right? Hearing, Shravanam, is very, very powerful. How can we remember Krishna? Through Shravanam. So she has learned not only about the glories of Krishna, his pastimes, his transcendental qualities. That is how she became attracted without even seeing him. She wanted to marry him, but nobody else. This is the power of hearing Krishna Katha. Right? And we understand the darshan of the Lord doesn't mean something to certain people. In front of Ravana, he appeared. In front of Hiranyakashipu, he appeared. In front of Agasur, Bakasur, Keshi, and Kamsa also he appeared. So many demoniac people like Shishupal also saw him. So they all saw him face to face. They did not develop deep love for Krishna, right? On the other hand, many people who never saw Krishna, they developed attraction and love for Krishna. So which is more important? Hearing is more important. Hearing the glories of Lord Krishna is more important. So therefore, without hearing, without gaining knowledge of Krishna, from authorized sources, even our seeing Krishna is futile. In the sense, it will not give rise to love of Krishna unless we have a favorable attitude, of course. So this is the understanding our acharyas try to bring about. So Rukmini Devi and Krishna, eternally they appear in Dwaraka in the spiritual world. And this is the pastime they are enacting in the earthly planet. And now I want to, I'm not going into the further verses, but then I'm going to talk about Krishna appreciating Rukmini in this episode. So now Krishna finally, after all this, there is also more that Rukmini talks about, but I'm not going into details because of the lack of time here. Coming to the 49th verse, 49 to 50, actually 59 talk about Krishna appreciating Rukmini. Krishna, he looks at her, Krishna looks at her devotion. Whatever benediction you hope in order to become free from material desires are yours, and you are my unalloyed devotee. I have now seen the first hand and pure love and attachment you have for your husband. Your mind could not be polluted away from me. This is what is the benediction. So, and again, Lord also recollects all her sacrifices. There is no other wife as loving as you, Rukmini Devi. It's very difficult for envious and wicked people who live in sense gratification to understand and do so faithful service. But I understand that you always did faithful service for me. There is no other wife who can be as loving as you. You have disregarded other kings. You selected me simply by hearing about me. So when your brother was insulted and killed, out of fear of losing me, you did not even speak a word. As I told you, I enumerated that pastime. And then you are steady to give up your body when I delayed. May this generous remain with you, and I cannot reciprocate except saying thank you to you. So this is what is Krishna. He's glorifying Rukmini, and I'm not getting into the details of the words as such. But the point is that Krishna, he understood the sacrificing spirit of Rukmini Devi, and he expressed his gratitude to her, and he told her that nobody can be as loving as you. I have never seen such a kind of pure love and attachment you have for your husband, and you will never be polluted, and your mind will never be pulled away from me. So this is what Krishna tells Rukmini Devi. Now, coming to the conclusion. The conclusion part is very important, because in the conclusion, I'm going to draw out some very important points that we've already spoken about, which will make you understand and enjoy this pastime in a much more relishable way. So let's understand what it is. So relationship, generally, it's a beautiful point, so please listen with attention. Relationships need a blend of predictability and unpredictability. Now, in relationships, to be exciting, there has to be this healthy blend of predictability and unpredictability. In relationships, if, say, for example, predictability means when we develop a relationship with someone, there is an understanding. Okay, this person has a particular character, and this person's nature is like that. And overall, we expect that the person has to respond in this particular way because his character is like this. So everything about this person is predictable. Okay. And now what about, if everything about this person is predictable, then it becomes monotonic. You're acting like a robot, right? Okay, I know how this person will react. If somebody appreciates, he will say, sure, no, nothing like that. And he will go away, or he won't even respond. Maybe we are just having some attitude and nature because of which we behave in a predictable pattern. Okay, and if that person just continues with that predictability model, then he behaves like a robot, isn't it? It is so monotonic, it is so boring. But then now we introduce this element of unpredictability. So what is this? So that actually brings excitement in relationship. So there is some unpredictability. If I speak like this person suddenly will speak something that I totally never expected. I didn't expect that. And then we come to know of new facet of that person. And in this way, what happens? The relationship deepens, right? But on the other hand, if the person is always unpredictable, we really don't know what he'll do, when he'll do what. In that, if you look at that scenario, this actually causes loss of security, loss of stability in the relationships, right? However, if there is a blend of predictability and unpredictability, that is what is introducing the sweetness into our life, because of which the relationship deepens. This is exactly was seen in the scenario of Krishna and Rukmani Devi. There was a healthy blend of predictability and unpredictability. And so we definitely need to understand. So when there is just predictability, it becomes monotonic. It becomes like a robot acting. Whatever you do, this is the reaction we will get. If there is unpredictability always, then it leads to loss of security and stability in relationship. There is no stability, no security. And we definitely need a balance of both predictability and unpredictability so that our relationship can be exciting. So now we need to understand Rukmani Devi, she was gentle in nature. She never got angry. So that was the predictable action. But now she wanted something unpredictable. Krishna, he saw something unusual. He didn't expect that reaction. He wanted Rukmani Devi to become angry. Instead, she became anxious, overwhelmed, and fainted. So this is a surprise to Krishna. But because this surprise actually made him understand the love Rukmani Devi had for Krishna, it actually deepened their relationship. So Rukmani's anxiety revealed the love that she had for Krishna. Right? We don't get anxious about things we are not concerned of. The greater we love something, the greater is our anxiety that we may risk something to get that thing. So Rukmani Devi's anxiety reveals a new aspect of love for Lord Krishna. And then Rukmani, she curbed her own anxiety and curbed her own anxiety when Krishna actually consoled her. So this is the understanding. And Krishna, when he spoke the words, she, in order to please Krishna, did what Krishna wanted. She finally became angry. So this is the understanding of the whole pastime. And again, I really couldn't cover some of the purports that were spoken after the recitation. But again, it was due to the lack of time. I really didn't want to take any more of any of devotees' time. I know it's a working day for everyone, and I wanted to really be conscious of all of your times. So with this, we will conclude today's presentation. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for patiently listening to me. I hope I did convey the message of Srila Prabhupada, and I definitely seek your blessings so that I'm able to convey and speak relevant words of our acharyas about the subject matter in future. Hare Krishna. Thank you. And thank you, dear Bhakti Sangha, for always encouraging and inspiring me and giving me this opportunity. Without you, I'm nothing. And Nishkinchana, right? So I definitely owe you a lot, and thank you for always giving me an opportunity to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji. How do I start? It was such a fantastic presentation. You covered the commentaries of all of them, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, Jeev Goswami, everybody pretty much. You have compiled everything together and given such a wholesome meal. It was like eating full meals with an excellent dessert. You didn't leave a single thing, and so many realizations and so many inside reasons that we never thought about. You really brought it out. It's always nice to hear from devotees. And when we hear from devotees, that is when these realizations actually sink in. We might read them, we might read commentaries, but they really don't sink in as much as when we hear from wonderful devotees like yourself. I just have one thing to say. Today, all our acharyas would be so proud of you, Mataji. They will be so proud of you for what you have done. Thank you so much. You reminded me of your Trinavarta class. That was very, very, very wholesome and this too. Very good.
Thank you for giving the opportunity, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Lakshmi Pashupati from California.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much for your Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your session today. It was very inspiring, and it was like a nectar that we are hearing in our morning. It was very delightful lunch that I can definitely tell. And yeah, as you said, just a reflection. Just so earlier, before coming into Hare Krishna movement, when somebody tells about God, and especially when things go worse in this Kali Yuga, right? Like there are so many rapes, or children are getting impacted so much, and there is no God. That's how they will try to justify there is no God and there is no prevalence of his existence. So that time, we will. I will try to cry. That's all I will do, because I don't have any other help. Somebody is talking wrong about my God, and I don't have any justice. Even though I say a word as karma, that won't actually convince the person whom I am talking to. So so that would be like I would be just crying, and I would be in so much anger against them. But after coming into Hare Krishna movement, I now understood that, okay, the time hasn't come for them to get to understand Krishna and the karmic activities across or behind this entire material world. So now I am keeping quiet and calm and leaving everything to Krishna. So I think the anxiety that Rukmani Mata showed across, I think that's great enough to justify this reason. Even though if somebody tells that there is no God or there is something like that, how we should react. Either be calm, or you can tell in a sarcastic way to them, but not with over anger. We should not shout or scream or just walk out. Yeah, that I learned today. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. So you bring up a beautiful point, of course, and with regards to such kind of scenarios, obviously those people are not blessed yet. They don't have enough Sukruti. Agyata Sukruti is not there, so for them to get the faith. And once they get that Agyata Sukruti through Mahat Seva and Sadhu Sangha, that's when that the devotional bud will come into them. And till that time, I mean, what you are when you say you get that anger, which is actually a very symptom of an advanced devotee, because our anger has to be dovetailed when somebody says something wrong about Lord Krishna, and you have exhibited that mood, which shows you are advancing in Krishna consciousness. And we have said that whenever there is anger, we should actually dovetail it to anger of those who actually say bad things about Krishna, who actually say bad things about devotees. That is where our anger should be directed. And I think in this situation, there is no point of getting angry, because these people have to come to a spiritual realization through their Agyat Sukruti, and that's what will take them up further. And whatever we do to them, it can't help them. And we just have to be patient. And even in that episode, when somebody blasphemes, we either walk out of the situation, or we just turn away, and we don't hear that blasphemy of the Lord or devotees at any point in time. That is the most practical thing that we can do to avoid, if we can.
Exactly.
Exactly,
Mataji. And
right.
yeah, thank you. And the satsang like this, it's definitely encouraging us and keeping us undiverted, actually. Otherwise, we will keep diverting in this material world, going here and there, thinking about many things. But these satsangs, thanks so much for all these satsangs. I am attending many of these, and thank you so much. And the conversation between Rukmani and Krishna, awesome. After the Rukmani's letter, I definitely enjoyed this for sure, because I haven't read this even in Bhagavatam or any other speech. I haven't listened. This is the first time I'm listening to this conversation between Rukmani and Krishna. And your wonderful philosophical speech also was very nice. In between, you said it might be boring. Please try to listen. Not at all, Mataji. It was very interesting, and we were attentively listening to your words.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Go ahead, Mataji, please go ahead.
No, this time you please go ahead.
Today there is a transcendental thing, Mataji, between you and me, I think. So, Mataji, very, very beautiful class, Mataji. I really like the each and every point that you are explaining, that how, when you love someone, we take care of a minute things, like you are describing about why the handle is in golden color. Yes, if you love someone, let's say if our children, we want to give them everything perfect and make them ready very nicely. It's not that they are not going to look cute if they are not get dressed or like that. But we love our children. We want to give them everything. In the same way, when we are taking care of Krishna, also in the altar, we give him everything that we have in the highest level in our house, that he looks so beautiful in the altar. So that was very nice, Mataji. And I really like that it's not important that we directly do services, but it's important the mood. Even by hearing, we develop that kind of love for Krishna, Vapu Seva and Vani Seva. That was like really very nice, Mataji. And also the expression of our feelings when somebody says something. It should not be like same every time. It looks like boring. The end explanation was very nice, Mataji. Totally, the class is super, super. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for your kind words. All through your inspiration, I'm able to deliver the words of our acharyas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Wow, what a commendable class. It was such a wonderful session. And it was so binding, for at least for me. I was just in one couch sitting and continuously hearing and hearing. It was such a beautiful class. And the way you were presenting it was awesome. How you first put on Krishna's argument and then one by one you refuted, like by the words of Mother Rukmani. So it was very, very beautiful, very philosophical presented, very shastric. So thank you for all your hard work, all your efforts, and very, very enthusiastic and inspiring class, I should say. Even I could feel that, you yourself was feeling the conversation between both of them, because your voice was going up and down and your expressions were awesome, Mataji. And really, you made us also envision the pastime. So thank you. Thank you for all your services. All glories to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. I'm just doing a little bit of what you're all doing every day. And thank you for this opportunity. Without Bhakti Sangha, I'm nowhere. And whatever opportunities I'm getting outside also, it's because of Bhakti Sangha. So I'm always indebted to Bhakti Sangha. This is very special to me and means a lot to me. And thank you, Mataji, for your instructive, inspiring words. And hope I continue to do and be of service to Srila Prabhupada's mission. That is what I aspire for. And all glories to our acharyas who have portrayed this episode in a much relishable way. And I was just able to convey a bit of it. There is more to this pastime. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Jai. Thank you.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Kasturi Mataji. It's really a wonderful class, Mataji, very excellent class. And I got to so many points, Mataji, how we have to think about the pure devotees and how Lord conveys or how Lord reciprocates with them also, Mataji. Thank you so much for this fantastic class, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Supriya Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. What a wonderful class, Mataji. I was just thinking when I read the topic, what will Mataji be talking about? I was just wondering, I could not even, imagine that you would be talking so philosophical and in such a manner. So that was really, really something very new. And I learned a lot from this class today. Thank you for a wonderful session, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shama Rupini Mataji, for your encouragement and your kind words. Of course, your class was also super duper hit. And I'm sorry that I'm unavailable at this time of the hour to listen to all the devotees personally. Because of my office commitments, I'm not able to, but I sincerely beg a pardon for that. But I do listen to the presentations offline and I enjoy. It's just that I'm not able to have a hankering for the lively calls so that I can appreciate you in person. And, thank you, Shama Rupini Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas. Wonderful class, Mataji. As always, you are so thorough with your the philosophical understanding. It was as if the class shouldn't end. It was so nicely taken. and so beautifully you spoke. You know, the main essence was like when you were relating each and everything with each and every act with how we should be dealing or how it is, that relation which is there na, I think that catches a lot, and that makes things understandable so very well. Otherwise it becomes just a story, and that you can extrapolate you. That is the wonderful, like, beautifully done, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you, Sita Priti Mataji. You are a natural speaker as well. And one thing I can't stop admiring you is your Gadod Kaja aspect. I cannot stop admiring you for that. And I wish I'm 1% like you. But Mataji, I sincerely appreciate all the kind words, and I'm looking forward to the Kalia episode that you're going to talk about. Really awaiting, Mataji. All the best. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Mataji.
What a classic class you gave, Mataji. You are completely blessed by Goddess Saraswati and ultimately by Krishna. Please forgive, I couldn't hear the beginning some part of your class, but I'm eagerly looking forward to listening to the recording. And the way you give classes is so good. Like I've always told, during my initial days of kids classes, I would make it a point that I log into your class and I learn a lot from you. And also your Bhagavad Gita classes are also very good. And I can see that you're completely involved in the story while you are expressing it to us. I feel you should be a regular speaker by looking at your abilities and potencies, Mataji. And please pray for me that I get at least 1% of it. I really look forward to your classes and hearing more and more from you. And you're looking very pretty in sari. And actually this standard of stories is, I mean, this classes is going so high. I can hardly see it now from where I am now. Everybody is so wonderful, and it actually is making me nervous also. What I'm going to do, I don't know. So, but this was a very wonderful session, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vrinda Mataji, for always encouraging me and supporting me and helping me. Whenever I need something, I come to you, and without hesitation, you help me. And thank you, Mataji, for your kind, encouraging words. It's just our acharyas have glorified each and every episode in the 10th canto. Such glorification is because it is Krishna's pastimes, and we read the 9th cantos to understand the mood of the 10th canto, and that is the essence of all cantos. And 10th canto is very special in that aspect that our acharyas have. They have these revelations in their heart, and they are portraying that, because of which we are able to at least do the minute % of what they have actually conveyed through the narration. So I think all glories to our acharyas. They have done an excellent, commendable job, and only duty for us is to relish it and understand in a way that should be understood. So for that, our spiritual master Parampara is guiding us so that we don't perceive any information in a very incorrect way, which is where there needs to be a delineation so that we understand it in the right mood with the right intention and follow the right things. As far as lessons learned are lessons learned, we have to follow those things that are expressed through these cantos and develop love and attachment to Krishna, which is the goal of our life. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Aji Radhika, respected Aji Radhika Kasturi Gopi, Koti Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, how nicely you narrated the pastime, Mataji. Srimati Sisi Rukmani Maharani has so much faith in the lotus feet of Lord Krishna that instead of staying in all the demons, she just surrendered herself to lotus feet of Srimati Sisi Radharani and Lord Krishna. And when they went to that temple, from there Lord Krishna is taking her. So that time we can see the Vida Vedana of Srimati Sisi Rukmani Maharani. He never see, but he just write down the letter to Lord Krishna and his Bhakti, Mataji. And you explained so nicely that we have to let go so many things in day-to-day life, that we learn a lesson that we have to let go to so many things in day-to-day life. We have to forgive them. Then only we are qualified to give, not qualified. That is the mercy of our Gauru Parampara, 6 Goswami and Srila Prabhupada, at least they will, in this birth, they will take a bhakti and enter in Dham. But before that, we have to become so sincere Vaishnava, so patiently we have to handle them, let go so many things. Even you train the Aditya so nicely, taking taking him in a class, Mataji, every time from last 5-6 months, I am seeing that Aditya is coming and singing. You also sitting at Lalitangi Mataji, also sitting, although you don't need to hear the basic CC Bhagavad Gita class, but so sincerely you are hearing, Mataji. So sincerely today you present that, Mataji, the standard of this Bhakti Sangha is so high, Mataji. Pray for all of us that we will pass in your exam. Hari Hari, Gauranga, Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam to your sincere seva. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai. Thank you, H.G. Kasturi Gopi. Jai Jai Nityananda, Jai Jai Gauranga.
I sincerely want to hear from you, Mataji. I don't know why, but my heart always wants to hear from you and take your blessings and prayers and everything that as much as possible. And I always hanker for that. You're one epitome, I think, in Bhakti Sangha, whom I look forward to take blessings and seek. And always, I really admire your simplicity and your innocence. This is what Krishna wants, and you perfectly have that, Mataji. And hope we also get that quality of simplicity and innocence, just like you, Mataji. That is what I pray for. And thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you know that my specialty is not singing, and please forgive me. I can only talk, but singing is my son, and he's not even here. So I apologize if anybody was expecting a Kirtan. I'm not the right person.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So are there any realizations for Radhika Kasturi Mataji? Do you want to share something with Mataji, or do you have some questions? Please go ahead.
So I just wanted to pass on a comment that I think the standards that the speakers are keeping up is so high, and it's so inspiring. It's very, very inspiring. Thank you all so much.
So, dear devotees, if there are no more realizations, so then with Mataji's, Radhika Mataji's permission and with all your permission, we can end the call. Mataji, before ending call, as Brinda Mataji said, we are all becoming nervous to give our presentation. Please pray Mataji for us also, so that we can keep our Bhakti Sangha's standards, Mataji.
Of course, Mataji, with all the devotees' blessings, all of you all will do a great job in rendering our Acharya's words in a beautiful way, Mataji. I pray to the Lordships that all the Bhakti Sangha coordinators do a very good job of rendering the words of Srila Prabhupada in the right way and attract more people into Krishna consciousness so that they can come out of their ignorance and be blissful. Chant and be happy, like Srila Prabhupada says. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. So, Mataji, so with this, we will end the call, Mataji. Once again, thank you so much for this wonderful class, Mataji. Vancha kalpatarupyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna Katha ki jai. Har Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki jai.
All
Jai.
glories to the assembled
Thank you so
devotees.
much,
All
Mataji.
glories to all
Hare
Vaishnavas.